Video for the Theta group for week 2 problem set. We're going to be going through problems 7 through 12 here. The first one's talking about this fraction problem, and this fraction should be pretty easy for you to figure out. Now again, you should know general fractions like a half and 2/3, but if not, you should always be converting your fractions to decimals anyway, and then just finding the correct answer that corresponds to that. And 1/2 is 0.5, 2/3 is about 0.67. And now we just need to look at our answer choices to see which one of these x values is going to match. Starting with C, as you always should, 2/5, plug it into your, 2/5, plugged into your calculator is 0.4, which is not within that value. In fact, it's too small. So we're going to then go to answer choice D. 3/5, which in your calculator you get 0.6. 0.6 is greater than 0.5 and less than 0.67. Answer choice D is your answer there. On to 8. Talking about more fraction problems. Now here, it's as much as a reading problem as it is a fraction problem here, how to work with them. Kevin gave away 1/3 to Joe and gave away 1/4 to Taylor. What fractional part does he still have? Well, let's find the fraction that he gave away first. Now again, I'm not going to be sitting here teaching you how to find least common denominators. All you need to know is that what you need to find is what 1/3 plus 1/4 is. Go straight to the calculator. Don't even bother least common denominators. When you do that, you're going to get some decimal. And then you should know how, like I said, to convert back to fractions. If you have a graphing calculator, you're hitting math, enter, enter. And when you do that, you get 7/12. Which is a little bit more than 0.5, maybe 0.58, I don't really know. But again, that's not quite the answer because that's how much he gave away. So he still has 1 minus 7/12, and you shouldn't even need least common denominators for that, or a calculator for that matter, to get that he still has 5/12 of what he originally had, which is answer choice C for number 8. Number 9. This is a fraction problem that looks a lot trickier really than it is. It's just going on the idea that dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So here we have x being divided by this fraction of y over z. All you need to do is say, okay, it's going to keep, change, flip. Keep the first the same, keep the x the same. Change this division to multiplication, and flip the second part. So when you flip y over z, it becomes z over y. Now if you're looking at that, you might be confused. Maybe put that x over 1 to realize that you're really multiplying fraction times a fraction. And you get xz over y. But that's what m equals. So if you want 1 over m, all you have to do is flip this fraction, giving you y over xz, which is answer choice B. If you're not sure about this problem, here's another great idea. All you have to do is make up numbers for x, y, and z. Just go ahead and say that whatever, x equals 2, y equals 3, and z equals 4. It doesn't really matter. Plug those in exactly how you see it into your calculator, and then do 1 divided by that answer, and then you'll have these as your plugins, and whatever you get when you divide that, which I believe is 8/3 if I'm doing my quick math correctly, and then you're looking for your target of 8/3, which is 2 2/3 or 2.67 in your answer choices using the skills from last week. I suggest you maybe pause the video and check that to take a look and see if you can get that to be your answer using that skill. But we'll move on because we're focused this week on how to actually do these problems with these skill sets using our fractions understanding. Number 10 is talking about x is an integer between 0 and 10, exclusive. First of all, let's take a look at that word, exclusive. Exclusive, as you could imagine, means not included. So the endpoints are not included in that inequality. So 0 and 10 cannot be values of x. Same thing with y. We have values between -10 and 0, meaning -10 and 0 can't be values here. So we want x plus y to be the smallest possible value that it can be. So that means x and y are both going to have to be the smallest that they can be. Well, x is between 0 and 10, and it's an integer, so the smallest possible value for x is 1. Smallest possible value for y, well, y is from negative 10 to 0, exclusive, so the smallest value there is negative 9. And when you add those two values up, you get negative 8, which is answer choice B. Number 11. Here, this is one of those problems that, although the number line was not given to you, it's probably pretty helpful for you to draw one. Put 0 in the middle, and it says that a is less than b is less than 0. So that means that b is less than 0, and a is even less than b. But d is somewhere over here on the positive side because 0 is less than d. Doesn't really matter what these are, but if you want, make up a number. Okay? I'll just look at it from the signs point of view. We're talking about ab plus d. A is a negative number, b is a negative number, and d is a positive number. So we have a negative times a negative, which we all know becomes positive, and we're adding to that another positive number, giving us an answer that has to be positive there, which is answer choice A for number 11. And again, make up numbers. Say b is negative 2, a is negative 5, and d is 3. Who cares? And when you do that, you'll see that it has to be a positive answer. Now you might get an answer that also works. For instance, when you do that, you're definitely going to get an integer, and you're definitely going to get a rational number. But the one that must be true is that it has to be positive. If you're not sure, choose other values. Make d pi, for example, which is an irrational number and is not an integer, and then you'll see that it's not necessarily going to be rational or an integer. Number 12, we're talking about 0 is less than x is less than 1, and we're talking about x squared minus x cubed, and it's similar to number 11. We want to find out something about what's going on here. Now in this case, we know they're going to be positive. So let's take a look at just what's going to happen first of all with the signs, because we have signs and we have exponents, so it's a good analysis to start with. So we have a positive number squared, and then we are subtracting another positive number cubed. Well, that's going to be a positive minus another positive, because that doesn't matter what your exponent is. If your base is positive, you get a positive number. So you know that's going to give you a positive answer. There's only one problem. Positive is not one of your answer choices. So it didn't really give us the answer. We can rule out answer choice A, because A says negative, but we don't know much else other than that. So let's pick in a value here. And again, you don't really know until you start looking at these problems and start practicing them, whether you should be looking at the math, whether you should be choosing numbers, until you do a few of them. And sometimes you guess wrong and you have to do another method. I'm going to choose x equals 0.5 here, because it's the easiest one to work with. So it's 0.5 squared minus 0.5 cubed. Well, 0.5 squared is 0.25, and 0.5 cubed is 0.125, giving me an answer of 0.125. And now remember, the x that we chose was 0.5, and our answer, 0.125, is definitely less than x, so B looks like a good answer. C's out, D's out, and E is out. So our best answer here is B, less than x. Hopefully you guys did pretty well on those, and if you did, then go ahead and work on the week assessment. Week 2 assessment. If you're not sure, take another look at the lesson and go from there. Thank you guys. Have a great week.